What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the After Effect Podcast. I am your host, LeBron Stephen, but you can call me LBZ, L Boogie, Big Bron, B Ron, LB, Barani. The choice is yours. Welcome to episode 67. We have some very special guests. Our very first Coaches Roundtable. Joining us today, we have TAE alumni from episode 3, Michigan State offensive analyst Effrem Reed. Alongside joining him is another TAE alumni from episode 4, Arizona Cardinals assistant running backs coach Don Shumpert. They are both on the show today to expound on their coaching journey thus far, speak about their former careers, speak about being part of a small percentage of Black coaches in the college football ranks and the top level NFL ranks. Super uber excited to have both of my guys on the show at the same time. Just sent them both the link, and once they jump on, we will go in.
A guy who came from Cleveland.
Okay, well, you ain't from Cleveland, no.
Cleveland was the best location in the nation.
You know, we from Cleveland, Ohio.
Glenville community on the east side of Cleveland.
Cleveland was called the best location in the nation.
Okay. We live. Hey, I appreciate y'all carving out the time, man. Busy coaches, man. 10 minutes of your time. 10 minutes of your time.
Yeah, most
Definitely. All right, so man, we can dive right into it. What would you all say has been the number one thing that you've learned while being on the coaching staff in the Big Ten? I know Effrem, you're offensive analyst right now, and then Shump, I know you were a GA for 2 years. So like, you all just kind of expound or talk about some things that you learned while being on the Big Ten staff. Okay. Anybody can go first.
Yeah, I started off, man. So basically, bro, as you know, man, you play Big Ten ball. You know how competitive it is. So it's all about really the small details. It really makes sense when you become a coach, how you really have to focus on every day, like the small details at practice, executing. Because everybody good. You know, once you get to that level, man, there's really no room for mistakes. And so basically the teams that can come prepared and practice the best on a day-to-day basis, those are going to be the teams that's ready to go on Saturdays or whatnot. But it's definitely, man, the whole preparation thing. You know, Rome wouldn't have been in the day. It does take time for you to get where you need to get, but you can't go through the motions. And as a coach, right, you know, I got to make sure I'm prepared and I'm ready every day to give my players what they need to be successful.
All right. Do you feel did you feel like as a coach that everything that Soup used to tell you in college made sense when you became a coach? Like just that everyday consistency, not messing up the details?
Exactly, man. Like, especially like stuff that's going on outside of football. Like, you just need to make sure everything is lined up in order, man, because it's a small time frame, really small time frame. And of course, you know, everybody want to go to the championship or whatnot. But I feel like the championship is won in the offseason and is won in practice. And so the teams that's able to prepare and to be the best, like, you know, that was one of our slogans, that I was prepared to be the best. Like, it really makes sense, man. Even as a coach, I had to make sure I was real detailed, that I was giving the right information to the guys. I was breaking down the games the right way. So it's them details, man, they take you a long way in life, like on and off the field. Small details for sure.
Oh, yeah, all details. Effrem, what about you?
Yeah, I kind of want to just piggyback a little bit on what you said about, you know, the consistency part. I think, you know, I started off my career at a G5 program, you know, and the main difference I'd say is how even the playing field really is when it comes to talent. And that, like you said, doesn't really separate much. I mean, obviously you have the Ohio States who tend to, you know, get the higher rated caliber guys, you know, that's just what they've always done. But as far as the true measure of success and everything we do, we know is consistency. You know, who could do it on a day-to-day basis. You know, it's easy. Like we're about to start camping. I know you guys, you know, in camping. You know, even when we were all playing, you know, everybody could do it the first 3 days, but you know, day 7, day 8, day 9, you know, who can consistently bring it? You know, not
Day 22.
no doubt. You're still trying to get better. You're still able to use your fundamentals, you know, the correct technique, and still able to process everything offensively and defensively, and even, you know, on special teams, which is probably, you know, the most important part of the game. Be able to put all those things together consistently, and it becomes a habit. You know, I think those things, you know, get overlooked at times, you know, but that's kind of what separates those top dogs from everyone else. That's what separates them, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah. Most definitely, man. I could totally attest to both of you all's points. Coach Don, let me come to you. What would you say were some differences from coaching, you know, at the college level, the Big Ten level, and then reaching that top level, coaching for the Giants first, and now I think entering year 3 for the Cardinals?
Yeah, the number one difference is something everybody knows, is the recruiting aspect. So you basically, man, you really get your time back more or less in the off season, because in the NFL, once we done with practice, you know, these guys are grown, man. They go back home to their families. We don't have to watch them. We don't have to monitor them. We don't have to talk to their families. In college, you know, you might have to talk to mama. You might have to talk to the guardian. You might have to talk to daddy. You got recruits you need to talk to on a day-to-day basis. So you got to make sure the recruiting thing is up to par. And so I would really say, man, just the whole time, like you get your time back more in the NFL. It's a longer season, but in college it's no different, because as you know, when we go to bowl prep, we working that whole month of December anyways.
Right.
So
Every day.
Yeah, in the league, it's 20 weeks of. I'm kind of used to it now. With my first year, you know, I was like, yeah, this a little long, but at the same time, when you're doing what you love, it's not bad, man. I just came 5-week break in the summertime. You know, and when you're in college, you basically got to grind in June, and that's camp season or whatnot. So you really don't have time to really, you know, to get your leisure life back or whatnot. So I think that's the whole, the quality of life and the time aspect is really the biggest difference. But in college, man, you get to touch them guys when they're younger, and you get to make an impact when they're younger. You know, when they get to the league, some guys might have bigger heads than the other. It might be harder to get to somebody. So,
of course,
from that aspect, you know, it's really good that you get to touch them when they're young, when you go to college, because you get freshmen and you get to basically mount them in a man. So, it's definitely good.
Yeah, definitely. And I remember you told me that story your first year with the Giants, when they basically made you present like a presentation in front of the whole team, and you hadn't done that at Iowa, and you didn't have that long to prepare, but you obviously prepared. You said you were a little nervous, but you said you learned so much in presenting to the entire team, and that's when you were working with the receivers, and the Giants were really popular with OBJ and all these guys, and you said you learned so much through that experience.
Right. No, definitely, man. It made me grow up real quick. You know, as a graduate assistant, you really don't say too much. You just show up and do the work. You break down the film. You know, you do all the charts. You make sure they got the scripts and all that stuff. So you kind of working behind the scenes. Even at the Giants, I was still doing the same thing, but at the same time, I had more of a voice. And so, you know, just getting out of my comfort zone, that was a big thing for me. Like I said, like you just said, I was 26 years old. You know, talking in front of the whole Giants team. You got Eli Manning back there. He about 36, 37. You know, OBJ, Saquon rookie year. So, you know, that was a big moment in my life for me, because it really helped me get over that fear. And I won't even say fear, but because I mean,
just the nerves, because you had never done it.
Exactly, just the nerve part. But it was good though, man. And you know, you got to do certain things like that to get over obstacles and whatnot. And that was really good coaching career for sure.
Of course, man. I love that. Coach Effrem, let me come to you. What are a few nuances that you look for in defenses to generate success as an offensive analyst? I remember when you got the position last year, all I kept thinking about was all the offensive juggernauts that Michigan State had: Kirk Cousins, Le'Veon Bell, Plaxico Burress, just to name a few. So what are some things kind of that you look for? I know it's a team of you all, but you individually, what's some things that you kind of focus on so that you all have success on offense?
You know, for me, like my job right now is every week I'm in charge of, you know, second and long and third downs, and then we get to the red zone. That's where I work that as well. But specifically, you know, because offensive perspective, you have to kind of wonder how a defensive coach he's going to call second and long? Is he going to treat it like, third and long, or is he going to treat it like third and short? Like, how is he going to call it? So, being able to study stuff like that, and for me, every week I want to go in and be prepared to tell the running backs, hey, maybe they're tipping their hat with back or lineman, maybe a hand down a certain way for a defensive end is telling us if he's dropping. Obviously, safety rotation is key in college football. It's going to tell you where every pressure is coming from. Safety's going by the hashes, he's moving. Hey, we got to be in tune with all of that. And obviously, just having these guys prepared to play fast, that's the whole key. If we could go ahead and put the ball down and play fast, any little tip we could give them, that'll work. We still see. I see you.
Okay, I can't see y'all though.
Yeah, I see you though. You good.
Yeah.
I think you just went out though, Brian. Turn the speaker on.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah.
Can y'all see me too?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't know what just happened, but we're gonna keep it rolling. So this question goes to both of you all. Being men of color, how much of a responsibility do you feel being in your current roles? Obviously, knowing that these kind of roles don't come around often in the Big Ten or at the top level in the NFL.
Well, I mean, I work for a black head coach. I see it every day, and he's one of the few in the country. Obviously, Mel Tucker. And for me, going into work every day and seeing what he has to deal with as far as dealing with everyone around him more so than the team, it's motivation because I do have aspiration to be a head coach. So when I observe things, I observe it from a different perspective, I guess you could say. I look at this from an organizational standpoint, as far as how our infrastructure of staff, how he has his. But being a black coach in this business, one, it's a blessing to be in the position I'm in. Obviously,
big blessing.
A lot of people don't have this opportunity, and to be able to be around a lot of other black men who have been successful. Harlan Barnett, played at Michigan State, was a DC at Florida State recently, played in the league 7 years. He's a guy who's around Ron Burton, defensive line coach. He's been at Michigan State, played in the league 9 years. Courtney Hawkins played 9 years in the league. He's a wide receivers coach, and these guys are in the place that I want to be. And every day I see that and pick their brains, and it's motivation. Because I know they have my best interest at heart because they were where I'm at one point, and I think that's a blessing to be able to pick their brain and, take their knowledge and kind of make it my own, put a spin on it and just grow, man, in any way possible. Because, sooner or later, like I'm sitting in the office today, I had some free time on my hand. I'm sitting there going through my own personal flow chart of how I would structure my staff. And, offensive coordinator walks up behind me and he taps me on my shoulder, says, it's going to happen, so you just got to keep preparing. You know what I'm saying? You just never know when it's going to happen for you.
Yeah. That's dope. Don, what about you?
Yeah, that was a great answer, by the way, man. So the way I look at it, though, is really, man, I just try to be the same person every day. Never get too high, never get too low. At the end of the day, man, I want to handle my business to let people know that people are color. We are capable of doing great things in this business. We capable of leading, man. And I work with a black head coach. Our defensive coordinator, Vance Joseph, was a head coach in this league. So, that's a really good mentor for me to really see how he go about his business. How hard he work. How he talk to people, how he treat people. At the end of the day, though, man, like he said, we both are definitely blessed. Really blessed, man. But it's all about just taking advantage of the opportunity. Like, for example, like he said, he want to be a head coach one day. I definitely want to be an offensive coordinator one day. That's why I took the role to become a running backs coach, so I can learn about protections in the run game. I play receiver.
I remember you telling me that.
So, now the game has really slowed down for me, man. And it's all about really challenging yourself. So I was really happy that I took that step to really challenge myself and get out my comfort zone. But what the NFL is doing is pretty good. They have like 2 minority fellowships basically throughout the season and whatnot. So they're trying to get us in these entry-level roles. And that's kind of where it all started. And hopefully we can start getting in the quarterback room. But at the end of the day, you just got to handle business, man, and make sure you're on time, showing up, doing what you're supposed to do, be a good person, and everything will work out.
That'll be huge. In that quarterback room, man, that'll be huge.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. That's dope, man. And even like you said, like you alluded to earlier about your flow chart, like both of you all have individual goals, obviously inputted in within the team goals. So like it's only up from here for both of you all, man. Yeah. So just two more questions. What is you all's take on the infrastructure that the NCAA is going? Obviously, when we played in college, there was no NIL deal. Like, we couldn't monetize our name, image, and likeness. And then Effrem, with you, like, being in the trenches now with that, just what's you all's personal opinion on if that's fair or not? And will it tarnish the game? Will guys be less coachable, or will there be able to be some kind of control?
I don't think they're gonna be able to control it. I think it's open season, but the whole thing, we deal with it every day. We actually laid out a plan for our guys, and
Okay.
I think the whole key behind it, I do not think it's gonna end up being equal, just simply because
Right.
the funding at each institution and the publicity and all of that stuff. Like,
Mm-hmm.
no way 5 schools could keep up. It is what it is. And
Right.
is it fair? No. But like, there was an article came out that the quarterback at Bama's got 6 figures, almost 7 figures, to his name already, and he hadn't even played the snap yet. I mean, to think about that, it's mind-blowing.
Crazy.
And
Right.
if these kids aren't educated properly, because you guys know it just like I know it. I mean, they're gonna be taxed on some of this stuff. You get a free pair of underwear, it's not just a free pair of underwear. That's tax write-off. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But you have to educate these kids, and you just hope they're in a good situation around good people who can provide education for them, and to let them know that just all money ain't good money. So sometimes be mindful of your situation and be mindful of what you're taking, and have people read over contracts for you, and be on your
agreements.
People, no doubt, because I that's my whole concern. These kids are having an opportunity, and I think that it's good for them to get money. I just wish there was some kind of cap on it as to where this is the max you could get a year.
Right. I definitely think there should be some kind of rules for all of the universities, because like you said, players from Alabama are probably going to make more than players in Utah. You know what I mean? Just because the market is so much bigger.
It's hard, man. I don't know if I think they kind of jumped and went a little too fast, essentially, instead of really thinking it out and laying out a great plan about it. But then still, it's like we all know, they don't want their hands tied with anything, so they'll leave it up to the universities to bury themselves, and then come back with their rules and say, "Hey, no, you broke the rule. That's not what we said."
Right. And one thing that I thought about was that some of the players or teammates getting envious, because I saw like a defensive end for Oregon, one of the designers from Nike designed him an NFT, and he got like a 6-figure deal, and the NFT is live. People are able to buy this NFT with digital currency for a year. He signed a year contract. So I'm thinking like, what is that other defensive end thinking? What is that other linebacker thinking that think they're as good as him? You know what I mean? So it's like, how do you control that? How do you control everyone's ego to make sure everyone is still team oriented, keeping the team first, and trying to win games?
Yeah, that's got to come from in the locker room, in my opinion. I mean, we've all been in there before, and guys just can't get the big head. Got to be real about the situation. Look out for the team. I mean, it's not the league. It's kind of like essentially almost given just about who you are nowadays. If you got to earn those endorsements. If you're a good player, you produce, you're gonna get your paper. But
exactly.
Now you got a high school kid who's a 5-star, highly recruited, never did anything, like hadn't done a thing yet. Oh yeah, here's 100 bands. You know what I'm saying? Like, you haven't done anything, and you go out here and flop.
Right, exactly. but you taking care of my monetarily. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's mind-boggling. It's crazy.
Down. What you think about it?
Yeah, it's definitely wild. The way I look at it, though, it's gonna be some players that's making more than the coaches. So when you go into the meeting room and you got a guy making more money than you, can you really get his attention?
That's what I said. That's why I brought up the coaching. Yeah.
So that's gonna be the tough part. And I also think you're gonna have kids staying in school longer. I don't really see why you would try to come out. I mean, NFL, in my opinion, stand for not for long. It's only a couple guys. You see the Tom Brady's of the world, but there's only so many of those guys. I see guys coming in and they come out just as quick as they came in. It's just the reality of the business, man. They always looking for the new guy. They looking for the younger guy. It's just younger guys cheaper or whatnot. So I just think it's tough on colleges. The NCAA, they did it in a way, though, where they're not even losing no money because they're not giving out the money. So
right.
They kind of
So they
put
still
themselves
bringing in
out.
their revenue.
Yeah, so it's different, man. It's definitely different. Hopefully these guys, they gonna be young. I mean, 18, 19, that's a lot of money as a kid.
I know it.
You make a six figure.
Right. Like Effrem alluded to, like all these kids gotta have a good team with them, or they gotta have parents who know what's going on, who know to set them up LLCs and get business accounts and things of that nature, because they're essentially a business. They're going to be an entity at 18 years old. So they have to have somebody smart who knows how to handle those kind of businesses.
Yeah, they definitely gonna need attorneys, man, and everybody just to really look over these contracts, because at the end of the, they gonna owe Uncle Sam when the year over with.
Exactly.
They really ain't educated on that part, man. So hopefully they just get the education and they get their financial literacy up, because if you make all that money, you can blow it just as quick as you got it. It really don't matter how much you make, it matter how much you keep. So hopefully they can get financial literacy up, man, and they can just really start studying and reading. Because kids nowadays, all they do is play the game. We was the same way, but the education is key. Like when I went through my dark times after college, all I did was I just read, bro, and that kind of what got me out of the tunnel. I was just reading. So hopefully kids can get some knowledge. Yeah, of course, you know how it is, man. You grow up and mature, and you realize what's important in life. So hopefully they can grow up and understand that just because they get money, that people still gonna want some of that. All that money ain't theirs, basically. So
kind of made me think of something just now, like about the kids who I know I was playing with back in college, and they taking their Pell Grant and sending it back home to moms. Like,
exactly.
You get enough fans, man. I'm going to buy mom's a new whip. Going, go this. And, all that literacy. You get, the vet to get with you. You get all these people talking to you, so it's a little different. Like, I'm just sitting here. 18.
Yeah, it's gonna be way different.
Right, he come from the struggle, from the slums. He might send everything home and blow it in a week.
Right, blow it. right. And y'all know how we used to do with the Pell Grants, but man, like I can definitely foresee universities. I'm sure Michigan State will do it as well. Implementing some kind of financial literacy class, or maybe a training during training camp, or maybe a training during mid-season, something to make sure all the kids are on the straight and narrow and not just blowing it. So like you say, saving it and also investing it, so they can potentially see it grow by the time they leave after their 4 to 5 year career. That's what's most important. And that's what I love, because as we all know, and we know a lot of guys, when we graduate, we stuck with our hands out, like, all right, damn, we gotta go get a job, we gotta go. We struggling financially, you know what I mean? So if they can use that as leverage, when they leave, they don't have to struggle. They can kind of move into their next thing, like, stress-free, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's definitely the bright side of it. That if you handle it right, you should have some type of leeway when it's all said and done. And you won't have to start square one. At least you'll have your nice emergency fund. And then you can just figure out what you want to do after that. As long as you handle it right. You know how we are with, how our black folks is. Our culture is with money. So,
right. Blow a bag.
They got a chance to enter the world debt free with money. Like, come on, man. Like, take it.
You can't beat it. You can't beat it.
Nah.
Can't beat it, man. So that last question for both of you all is kind of a two-part question. Effrem, on episode 3 last year, you told me that the after effect of your career was mainly just finding a peace of mind to move on from the game and figure out what you wanted to do next. And then down on episode 4 last year, you said the after effect of your career was just having that willpower and giving 110% to anything that you're doing. How do you all think that you've taken those aspects and kind of implemented them into your coaching style today?
For me, you go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna start it off. So basically, what I tell my players all the time is never get too high, never get too low. You made a great play, you got to come back right here. You fumbled the ball, you did something terrible, you got to come back right here. You always got to be stationary, you got to be level. So me as a coach, no matter if I had a great day or a bad day, it's all about that effort and that consistency that I put in on a day-to-day basis. And so it really don't matter what I did yesterday, what I did last week. It's all about the next day, man, quite frankly. And so I just try to take that same approach every day, try to be 1% better at something. and really don't live in the past. Because if you live in the past, it's really, the past is the past. It's all about, moving forward. And even if it was something negative, just learn from it. You could make a negative a positive. So I just try to be positive, man. I wake up every day in a good mood, good mindset, and really just ready to go, bro.
Absolutely. I love that. Effrem, what about you?
Yeah, the two things I always tell the guys as well, is one thing is how you do anything, it's how you do everything. So you got to approach that mindset every day. If you're going to be a good person, you got to be good at everything. You got to be good when you're in the classroom. You got to be good when you're on the field. You got to be good when teammates need you outside of the building. And the next thing is, a guy once told me that never have a bad day. There's only bad moments. And I try to tell these guys that all the time. It's kind of piggybacking a different way of what you said, Don. It's just, if something bad happens, okay, that's a bad moment, but don't let that dictate the outcome. Don't let that dictate your whole day.
Of your entire day, yeah.
No doubt. Like, just a bad moment happens. Okay, you got a flat tire. That's a bad moment. Let's get the tire fixed and move on. We go ahead and continue and have good success. Have a great day. I think I approach the meeting with that every day. I approach any type of work I do, any breakdown, anytime I'm coaching on the field. My guys will tell you, man, I don't curse. I don't do all that unless I really have to, because that's not how I'm not gonna get to you that way. Let's have a conversation with grown men and let's get whatever we got to get addressed and fixed. I try to approach it. My room's all black. Approach it just like how my father would approach it to me, basically.
Of course. Definitely. Man, I love that. Well, that's actually all I had, man. I appreciate you all carving out the time. Maybe I could send you all each number and you can, bounce some game off each other, man. But I appreciate you all jumping on at the same time and, kind of comparing and contrasting and us just kind of having this conversation, man.
Most definitely. I appreciate you having us.
Yeah,
yes,
most
sir.
definitely.
Yes, sir.
Great time,
yes, sir.
brother.
Yes, sir. Well, yeah, man, we'll be in touch and y'all have a good night, man. Keep grinding. Good luck this season. I'll be watching.
Yes, sir.
We got our, we're going to get them payback this year. I got you.
Hey, come on. Don't do that to us, man.
I was just about to say good luck, except when y'all play the Hawkeyes.
Y'all beat us so bad last year, man. I was so mad at
the game. we always went back and forth, man. So, it's always a battle.
Most definitely.
All right, y'all take it easy, man. Be safe.
All right.
Peace.
Yo.
Subscribe to LeBron Daniel TV, but you already knew that, where we dig deep and find our hustle, and every single day we are better than yesterday. Subscribe.